Jim, obviously you know the head coach pretty well.
Right.
On the other side here, he knows this team. You guys know his tendencies. Is going to be, I don't know if it's weird or just interesting to have that situation after being together for so long.
Yeah, I think it's, I wouldn't call it weird, but it's always like there's a familiarity, you know what I mean? But then beyond that, it's, two teams that are playing pretty well, going at it. And, it's going to be a good game. That's what I know. They're playing really well. We like to think that we're playing pretty well. Should be a good hockey game.
What stands out about the way Detroit has played under Todd?
I think they're playing a little quicker. You know what I mean? That would be the one thing I would say. Really dangerous off the rush in particular. And of course their power play has been really, really good. But I would say they're playing a little quicker through the neutral zone. That's probably the biggest thing we've seen.
I know you joined the staff here after Todd had been here, but it seems like there's a lot of similarities between where Detroit's at now and where LA was when Todd came over. Does it seem to be kind of that way?
Yeah. I mean, those guys were a couple years before me, so I can't speak to that well. They're, I think, pretty deep into their process. You can see some of their younger players now, starting to become some more of the important players on the team, or taking the important ice time, I guess you would say. But yeah, they're a strong organization. They've been building for a while, and now they're seeing those things come together.
Since he's come back, the production for Morsey hasn't been there, but last game you kind of see him do that spin move. You see him retrieving pucks in the ozone. Is that maybe more of the game you want to see from him?
Yeah, I would say, we talked about it this morning, him and I, coincidentally. I would say the last 3 games in particular, hasn't scored, but every game he's looked more like himself, or like the player we expect and we saw most of last year, where he's taking people on one-on-one, holding on to the puck a little bit more. Seems like his confidence is growing. And the goals part of it, they are pretty random, so not concerned about those. Just good to see him looking more like himself.
I feel like sometimes maybe it just takes a guy coming back from being out for a month, a couple games, to find his footing, and now that he has, he's back where he should be.
Yeah, it does, but he looks as dangerous as he has all season. So never even mind, the fact that he was out and coming back. He looks just freer right now. He just looks more dangerous. And we know what he did last year. A lot of that was on his own. It was taking people on, beating people off the wall, getting to the net, banging on a rebound. So yeah, that's going to come for him as long as he's playing like he is.
When you look at their power play, do you compare it to what they were doing earlier in there, and what is it they're doing now that is allowing them to succeed the way they are?
I don't know. I mean, they move the puck really quick. They've got some key players in some key spots. It's interesting on the power play. A lot of times the player doesn't like to play in the middle of the box, because they feel like they don't get to handle the puck as much. But they got one that's good as anybody in Larkin in the middle, and he clearly embraces that role. So he gets his touches, they work it through him, he can shoot and score. That's always important for that guy. I think that's a really important part of it, is the fact, is the job he does in the middle of the box.
For a few games with the offense kind of slowly coming around, it seemed like it was Juice who was kind of leading the way. But with all the chances the last couple of games, and then finally Q and Phil getting on the score sheet last game after a while, does it seem like things are kind of starting to turn back in the right direction?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to predict that. We'll see tonight, and we'll see what the story looks like after this game. But it's always good to see guys who haven't scored in a little while score. We all put pressure on ourselves to score, despite the fact that we can win games without an individual scoring. But when you score, it lightens the load a little bit. So we'll see if that gives each of those guys a little bit of a boost.